Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I really hope you're all doing okay and having a great day and an amazing week. My name is Effy and today we're finally doing another palette play video. I feel like it's been so long since I've done one of these. If you've never seen my palette play videos before, it's where I pick a palette to play with at random from my eyeshadow palette collection and I create 3 looks using it. One on this eye, one on this eye, take them both off and do a third look on both eyes. This is the third look and the palette we are playing with today is the Beautybay Pastels palette, which is here. It looks like this. I will quickly insert the footage of me picking this palette at the end of our last palette play video. We have the tin. The tin has been updated. I know I said for ages that I was going to update it. I have actually updated it now. So let's pick a new palette. Let's go for this one. So the palette we have is the Beautybay Pastels. Can you see that? I think you can. We have the Beautybay Pastels. And at the end of this video, we'll be picking the next palette for our next palette play video. I'll try and not keep you waiting as long as I have done for this one, because I know a few people were looking forward to it because they said so in like my last video comments and on Instagram. And I made you wait so long for it. I'm really sorry. I promise the next one will be here a bit sooner. But I won't keep you waiting any longer. If you enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you like my content, please consider subscribing. I put up 2 videos a week and it's all makeup content. So if that sounds like the type of thing, then this is the place for you. But other than that, enjoy the video. So let's make a start by talking about the Pastels palette and how I feel about it as it stands right now. So here it is, pastel-y, as I'm sure you can imagine. I quite like this palette. I actually think it is a good palette. I don't reach for it very often because obviously I can only get a handful of looks out of this palette. It's not exactly something that I'm going to use every day, but from watching Make Me Up Missa, she uses it to blend out other looks that she does that are super colourful if she's using a palette that doesn't have a pastel shade for the colour she's using. So if she's doing a blue look, she'll dip into this shade to blend it out. I think that's a really good way of using the palette. And I do try to do that. It doesn't always work. Sometimes these shades aren't the perfect option, but that's fine. So that is a really good use for this palette. This also comes in really handy in like Halloween times and things like that. But yeah, it's not something I'm going to get a full look out of. And for that reason, today is going to be a little bit of a different palette play. I am going to use this palette in all 3 looks, but I am allowed to use anything else in my collection if I need to. This is actually like an unspoken rule of my palette plays anyway, where if I want to use something that's not the palette, if I want to add some glitter or liner or anything, I can do that. I just feel like that's probably going to be the case for today. I do have 3 looks in mind, so let's zoom in and make a start on look number 1. So, look number 1. My goal for this is to kind of make these wearable looks, if that makes sense. I know not everybody's going to wear pastel shades all day long, every day, but I want to make them relatively wearable. And for this look, I'm going to go green. And we actually have 2 greens in this palette. We have the shade Serenity and the shade Days, and I am going to use both of them. And I'm going to start with Serenity, and what I'm going to do is sort of take this as a wash of colour over my lid and sort of pull it out into a point. That's the right word. Pull it out into a point. Hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing. That took a bit of building up, but I have now got a very light wash of this green shade and it does look quite nice. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it on camera because it is obviously a pastel shade. I've done it very messily, nothing tidy about this at all. I've blown it out quite a bit and pulled it out on the outer corner. And it does just give a really nice wash of green. I actually have quite a few tops that are this colour, so this would actually be a great eyeshadow for me to use when I'm wearing them. But now I'm going to go in to the shade Days, and I'm just going to use this to almost deepen it a little bit, but obviously it's still a pastel, so it's not going to deepen it loads, but I'm just hoping to add a little bit of dimension. As you can see, it's still very messy. It didn't add much depth, but what it has added is just a little bit of a different tone, because that Days shade is much more of like a minty green as opposed to the pastel lime green that we had from the other shade. For me personally, if I were to be going out in this look, I would personally like to put a little bit of a darker green just on the very outer corner, just to add a little bit of depth. But I want to try and stick to just this palette in terms of eyeshadow, especially in terms of matte shade. I am going to go and pull a shimmer shade from another palette. But this is a really nice look. I think a bit of black liner on this, and I would wear this to the office. It would look absolutely fine. I do have a little bit of fallout, but because it is just a pastel shade, you can literally just dust it away and it's not going to make much of a difference. Now, like I said, I am going to pull in a shimmer shade from a different palette. Let me just grab a different palette. So what I've done is I've actually grabbed a handful of different palettes just to show you that you don't need any specific palette to get the shade that I'm looking for. And there are also a range of prices. So starting with the cheapest one, the Lottie London Envy Me palette. Basically for this look, I'm looking for a green shimmer that I can ever so lightly tap over the lid. And this palette has two green shimmers. It has this one here at the bottom, which has more of a gold tint to it. And there's this one here at the top, which is a bit more of a bluey tint. For this look, I would go for the bluey tint one, and I would just gently pat it over the lid. I wouldn't full pigment it, I would just use a little bit. We then also have the Escape Pod palette from Kaleidos. Again, this one has two greens. There is this one down here and this one up here. This one looks like more of a lime green. This one looks a bit more goldy. For this look, I would take the lime green one, which is called Galactic Gala. And again, just gently pat it over the lid, just to give a little bit of sparkle, not to add another shade particularly. Another palette I picked up is the Unicorn Cosmetics Angel palette, because this also has a couple of green shimmers in it. You have this one here called Utopia and this one here called Eden. I actually think the Utopia shade would be the better one for this look, just to pat over the lid. This palette also has quite a few greens, and I'd probably use this sort of a green to deepen the outer corner, but I'm not going to, I promise. And then finally, I picked up the Earthy palette by Beautybay. I have also picked up the Wilderness, because the shade I'm thinking of using is actually in both of them. So I'm going to show you it in the Earthy palette, because it is still available, this palette. And I am thinking of the shade Ray, which is, it looks silver or like goldy, but it has a green reflect to it, and I think that is exactly what I want for this. But realistically, you could probably use like any of the green shimmers. Like this one looks really good, this one looks really good, this one looks really good. You could pretty much use any of them. But what I'm going to do is use that Ray shade, but I'm going to use it out of my Wilderness palette. It is the exact same shade, but I just want to use this one up first. And like I said, I'm just going to take it on a brush and gently pat it over the lid, because I don't want full opacity, I just want a little bit of summing. There we go. Hopefully you can see how lightly I've taken it over the lid. I did go a little bit heavier on the inner corner just to actually have an inner corner highlight. But this look is really, really pretty. Obviously, I think it's a bit more of a spring look, and we are going into autumn right now. But I think this is just such a pretty look. It's just got such a nice look to it, essentially. It does just look very ethereal, very pretty, very nice. What I'm going to do now is go off camera, do my lower lash line, do a brow, add some mascara, just so you can get a feel of how it would look as a finished look. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, this is look number one. It has gone kind of dark in my room. The sun sort of disappeared a little bit, but hopefully it'll come back. But yeah, this is look number one. I think this is a super cute look. It's so easy and quick to throw on. 3 eyeshadow shades. I have done my brow and my mascara. Everything will be linked down in the description box in case you're interested. I'm not doing lashes. I've sort of gone off doing lashes a little bit. I'm not that interested in doing lashes. But also, this doesn't need lashes. This is just such a cute look completely by itself. And I really quite like it. I would wear this to work quite happily. I would wear this out and about, doing my thing, living my life. And now that I have mascara on and that shimmer, I don't even know if I would really need to deepen up the outer corner really at all. I think it looks quite cute how it is. What we're going to do now is make a start on look number 2. And I promise you, it's going to be just as easy as look number 1. Okay, look number 2, and again, like I said, this is going to be super simple, but we are going to start with something that's not the palette, and that is a different eyeshadow palette. Now I picked the Soph original palette with Revolution, but realistically all I'm going in with is a shade that is similar to my skin tone. So find a palette that has a skin tone shade for you and your skin tone, and simply just use that, and all I'm going to do is just put it all over my lid to set my eyelid. And there we go, that's it for now. You could even use a white if you're pale like me. I could probably use a white and it would just brighten my eyelid a little bit more, but all I'm really interested in is setting my eyelid, because I want my eyelid to be covered with eye primer so that it doesn't look veiny and things like that, but it doesn't need any pigment on there, so I've just picked one that is similar to my skin tone. And what I'm going to do now is go in with one of these pastel shades. I'm going to pick the purple because I want to use the purple, but this is just going to go right on my inner corner and then sort of diffuse it out a little bit, but pretty much just focusing it on that inner corner. And there we go, there it is. You could blow this out further, you could make your entire eyelid this colour like I did with the green, but I'm trying to make them differentiated looks, so I'm going to leave it like that for now. I do want a shimmer for this, and I have got a few different options, and realistically what I'm looking for is something again that doesn't have much of a base to it, that really is just a purple shine, and I'm going to put that on my lid. So the few options I have are, first of all, you can use a liquid glitter. This is the Rude Cosmetics Star Party liquid glitter. It is the shade Solstice. It is a purple. I'll put it on the back of my hand so hopefully you can see what I mean by it. This probably has a little bit too much base for what I'm looking for, because it does have a purpley base, but just something to give some glitter would be amazing. Option number 2 is the Beautybay Midnight palette. And realistically we're talking about sort of this shade here, or this shade here, or this shade here. That first one is probably the best one. I might actually go in with that one, we'll see, but that is the shade Gleam. But again, just something to give a little bit of a purple look to it. Option number 3 is the Be Perfect Carnival 3 palette, Love Tahiti. Now this has quite a few purple shimmers in here. You've got the shade Starlight, Blue Moon. Realistically, those are the two I would consider. Again, they're kind of giving me that vibe where they've got a sheen, but not too much base to it. That shade Starlight is actually a really good option as well. And then option number 4, which we've already looked at, is the Escape Pod palette by Kaleidos, and they have these two purpley shades in the middle. You've got Space Oasis and Cosmic Cabaret. They would both be amazing. I think because I used a Beautybay palette in the first one, I'm going to go in with the Stacey Marie Carnival 3 palette, because I know a lot of people have this palette. I am trying to pick palettes that I think a lot of people will already have in their collections. And I'm going to go in with the shade Starlight, and again, light patting all over the lid just to give a little tiny bit of shimmer. And again, I just diffused it out, added a little bit extra on the inner corner just to make that stand out a little bit. But there we go, that's all I really want to it. Now, this is where I make this look a bit more different from look number 1, is I'm going to go in with some liner. And I'm going to use the NYX Epic Ink Liner in black, and I'm just going to do a super simple wing. Now, winged eyeliner doesn't look the best on me because of my eye shape and things like that, but I hope you're getting the idea of what this look would look like. You could intensify it a little bit more. What I'm going to do now, again, is go off camera, add a brow, add some mascara so you can see the look in sort of all its glory and how it would look fully done. I'm not going to take the purple along my lower lash line because I think just having it on the inner corner is fine. I might re-intensify it a little bit. It may have been taken over by those other shades, but hopefully you're getting a vibe of what I'm going for. I'll see you in a moment. There we go, that is look number 2. I think it's giving me 60s vibe. Is that the right like era that I'm thinking of? I hope so. But I am really enjoying this look. Again, I would wear this to the office. I think I get complimented on it, to be honest, because it's kind of chic with a little bit of colour, and I quite like that. I really, really like this look. I also like look number 1. Let me know down in the comment section, as always, which look is your favourite. And just let me know what you think of all 3 of them. Let me know if you'd wear them, and where to, and what for, okay? because I think these are wearable, but obviously wearable is different for different people. But what I'm going to do now is go and take both of these off, and we're going to do a third look. I'll see you in a moment. Okay, it's time for look number 3, and I'm going to be honest, this is the one I'm most nervous about because I'm going to be using quite a few different shades from this palette. Now the idea with this look is that I want to go blue, pink, pink, purple across my lid, and then I want to put some shimmer on it and make it look all stunning. My eye's already primed and my entire face is covered in glitter thanks to the previous 2 looks, so please just ignore that if you notice it. So we're going to start on the inner corner, and we are going to start with the blue. Yeah, I've been trying to figure out the best way to do this, and I think starting with the blue is the best way to do it. And we're just going to put this right on my inner corner. There we go. Super easy, super quick, just patting it on, sort of diffusing it out a little bit, kind of just like how we did in look number 2 with the purple. Now I'm going into the shade next to it called Euphoria. By the way, the first shade was called Cloud Free, but now Euphoria. This is taking a little bit of building up, but that is kind of to be expected given the fact they are pastel shades. So just take your time, pat them on, build them up to how you would like them. Now we're going into the other pink, which is called Lovesick. This is probably my favourite shade in the entire palette. I'm not worrying too much right now about the blend between the shades or the blend or the fade or anything like that. I'm just trying to get my colours on. And then the final shade is the shade Daydream, which is the purple in the bottom corner that we used for look 2. Looking at the shades now, I'm not 100% convinced this was the best order to take them all in, but that's absolutely fine. I don't think it makes much of a difference. What I'm going to do now is go back through all 4 of those shades and just blend them a little bit better. There we go, they're blending a little bit better. They kind of blend seamlessly together. You don't really have to do much, just pat them over each other. If you try and blend them too much, they'll blend away and blend into nothing. And now just on a clean, fluffy brush, I'm just going to go around the edge and just sort of diffuse that a little bit. And that's all I'm doing in terms of the matte shades. What I'm going to do now is grab a liquid glitter because that's what I want to use with this look. I've picked up this one, which is the e.l.f. Cosmetics liquid glitter eyeshadow in the shade Flirty Birdie. And again, I'm kind of just going to pat this gently over the lid and not make it too opaque, because I don't think that's what these sort of looks need. I think they just need a little bit of something. I think this just adds a really pretty look to it. It sort of hides a bit of that messy blending on the lid, and it just gives something to really draw the eye to. And I think that's it. I think this look is so stunning, so ethereal. Again, you could easily add a black eyeliner to this, or even a grey, or even a purple or a blue, anything, and you just make it look a little bit more elevated. What I'm going to do now is go off camera, catch up the other eye. I'm going to just use the same colours on my lower lash line, so don't worry about that. But you will get to see this as a finished look, and I think it's going to look really nice. I'll see you in a moment. There we go, this is the third and final look, all finished and on my face. I really quite like it. As I was sort of finishing this up and doing the other eye and things like that, I was thinking this would be a really good Halloween look if I went as like a fairy or something. I think it's really cute. Also, I've never worn this lip colour before. It's the Huda Beauty Demi Matte in the shade Bonnie, and I have it in Passionista and absolutely love it, but I've never worn this shade before. I think it really suits me. Yeah, quite happy about that. Happy to know that I have a product that I like, I guess, in my collection. But yeah, there we go. Let me know what you think of all 3 looks. Let me know which one's your favourite down in the comment section below. I think this one's my favourite, but in terms of which one I would wear, look number 2, I might wear that to work at some point soon, just because I think it's really nice. But yeah, as always, everything on my face will be linked down in the description box below. But let's quickly do our closing thoughts on the palette. Realistically, my thoughts haven't changed loads. I still think this is a palette that has a really good use, but not always by itself. I think that creating a look that is, first of all, fully matte isn't really something I would do anyway, but then fully matte and just pastel shades is a lot to ask. So I think this is a really good accompanying palette. I think you could pair it up with different palettes and different looks, and it would really add to a look. Like I said, Make Me Up Missa uses it to blend out other looks. I think that's a great idea for it. But I hope from this video you've sort of seen that you can sort of make this the standout product of an eye look with a couple of other products to help it get to a full look. And also I think I've kind of proven that to myself, which is really good, because I think when I started I was a bit apprehensive because I didn't think I was going to be able to create looks where this was the standout item. I think even in the video where I tested this palette, I mainly used the Beautybay Bright Mattes and then just used this as a blending out palette. I did use it on my lid and I don't think I liked it from what I can remember. But I'm really glad that this video has gone so well, and I've got 3 different looks that are, I think, very different to one another and I think are pretty wearable. I mean, this I probably wouldn't wear to work, it's a bit too glittery and a bit too many colours, but I would wear the first 2 looks to work very happily, and I would probably wear this in my own time very happily as well. But there we go. If you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. I have not picked the next palette. Can you tell that it's been a while since I've done one of these videos? I'll just grab the tin. Here we go, here's the tin. I actually think it's a little bit out of date again now. I think I've tested a couple more palettes that aren't in here, but that's absolutely fine. We'll carry on and I'll update it eventually. So here we go, let's pick our next palette to play with. This one. It is the Lois Cosmetics Meet Me at Midnight palette. This is an interesting one because I've only used it once and it wasn't my favourite. So we'll see how that goes. But there we go, the next palette I'm going to play with in this series will be the Lois Cosmetics Meet Me at Midnight palette. If you're looking forward to that, please let me know down in the comment section. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. I put up 2 videos a week and it's all makeup content, so if that sounds like your type of thing, then this is the place for you. But other than that, I'll let you go. Have a great day and an amazing week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!